who lost to the Aces last night, play them again on Friday. If they lose, this will be largely deflating for the Fever.
Generally, I'm sort of like, let's not take a loss and make it a bigger deal than it is. But in this case, this is going to be a gigantic deal if they lose to the Aces again on back to back nights to close out the regular season. It's because they haven't beat Las Vegas. It's the one team they have not beat this season. They are 0 for 3 against them. They've lost every single one of these games double digits. And more than just that, it's what the Aces have been able to prevent Caitlin Clark from doing in all of these games. May 25th, they lost by nearly 20. Caitlin Clark was 2 of 5 from 3-point land, only had 8 points. This was very early in her WNBA career. This is when the Fever were still a sub 500 team and they were not good. The next time they played, July 2nd, another double-digit loss, 88-69. Caitlin Clark was 1 of 7 from 3, had 13 points, 11 assists. Okay, getting better. But last night, it was an 11-point loss for the Fever. Caitlin Clark was 1 of 10
Yeah.
from 3-point land, had 6 assists, did have 16 points. But this is alarming to me because this is more than just a one-off or a two-off. This is now a trend that Caitlin Clark doesn't shoot well against the Aces. And if they can't win a regular season game, yes, they're a young team, and oftentimes ignorance is bliss, but also for a young team, if they can't prove to themselves that they are more than what they've shown in these last 3 games, that can be alarming if these teams meet in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's not anything. I don't know how deflating it would be in the first round matchup. They're not going to face the Aces in the first
Sure.
round. So I'm not sure that it would impact them in that way. Certainly, it'd be something that's in their head should they advance and have to face the Aces in the postseason. But one of the things that the Aces do particularly well that also bit the Fever in the ass yesterday, getting them into foul trouble. Lexi Hull was in foul trouble right away.
Mhm.
She's one of their best defenders. That really threw off their rotation. So we're seeing people, sort of hodgepodging minutes, if you will. Fever started out in fuego. I mean, I think Becky Hammond called an Aces timeout like 35 seconds into the game,
Mhm.
right? Aaliyah Boston gets into foul trouble, had to sit most of the fourth quarter. And like that's the Asia Wilson effect. She'll do that to you. She will get you into foul trouble because she is so good at getting to the basket. But yeah, I would agree with you in that the Aces are one of the best defensive teams in terms of they can defend at every single level and they can switch on her. Jackie Young is a really excellent defender. And Caitlin Clark admitted as much yesterday when she was sort of commiserating after the game about the offensive foul that ended up being pretty integral towards the end of the game that she was called for. And just saying that she feels like the Aces are one of the most physical teams. They're all really great defenders. And that she, was dealing with some contact, but she'll need to use her quickness and her speed a little bit more. But yeah, taking the 3-point out of her bag against a team like the Aces, who are really tough to penetrate on because Asia Wilson is an incredible rim protector, that's certainly an issue. I will say this, though. You mentioned that the Aces are the only team that they haven't beat yet. And of the other top teams that they've beat, New York and Connecticut and Seattle, it took the Fever until the final game of the season series to beat those respective teams. So I wouldn't count
Mhm.
them out necessarily on Friday. But yeah, man, it was one of those, I would say, frustrating games for the Fever based on how well that they had been playing to sort of have a measuring stick game to close out your season against a team that you have yet to beat. You wanted to have a better performance, but a little bit anomalous in terms of how much foul trouble they were in, how much that hurt their rotations. But on top of that, I mean, shout out to Asia Wilson, who, as if it wasn't already solidified, showed you why she is the runaway MVP. She breaks the single season WNBA scoring record that was set by Jewel Lloyd. And not on a particularly efficient night for Asia, but just down the stretch, total dominance. She started getting in her bag.
Yeah, Asia Wilson was a problem for the Fever last night. They had no game plan for her. She shot what 8 for 22 or something like that, or 28. She shot like 8 for 28. She was definitely aggressive, confident, all that. So she was definitely trying to go out there and make a statement. And they got the win. Now, as far as the Fever go, when we talk about Caitlin Clark and we're talking about her shooting, and it's not like all her shots were just way off the mark. A lot of these shots are either hitting rim or they're going in and out. So I'm going to be honest with you. I expect Caitlin Clark to keep shooting. Shooters are going to shoot. You're not going to change a shooter. If she feels her shot, she's going to shoot it. If she feels she has a good look, trust me, Caitlin Clark is going to shoot it. That's one person who is not going to, she's going to shoot her shot. Now, I think this game she needs to come in with a little bit more of a aggressive offensive game plan type of style as far as getting AB going fast, playing fast, getting these girls in foul trouble. Because like they said, look, this is a team where if you look at Caitlin Clark's stats on paper versus them, they're not that good. They're not. Let's just be honest. But that does not mean that Caitlin Clark doesn't come out and be aggressive. No, 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 no. Caitlin Clark, she needs to come out and be aggressive. That's what we want to see. I don't want to see timid play. I don't want to see passive. Yeah, I want you to pass the ball, but I don't want you taking up. Passing up shots because the media is. I don't want to know. Caitlin Clark needs to go out and play her game. The rest of the supporting cast needs to play their game as well. AB, Kelsey Mitchell, go out and have some big time games. Do what you guys do. Play with confidence. Play with confidence. Have a good game plan. We're gonna have to stop Asia Wilson. I don't know if we're gonna be able to stop Asia Wilson, but we're gonna have to do what we can as far as slowing down the bench and slowing down all the other supporting cast on the other team, because we can have Asia go for 40, but we need to slow down the others. The bench, they killed us. We cannot be outplayed by the bench. As far as Caitlin Clark, if they're going to come in and be physical with Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, Lexi Hall, Melissa Smith, Aaliyah Boston, you guys need to be aggressive. I don't know if she's going to start Temi. I don't know if she's going to start Nalissa. She really likes Nalissa at the 4. But a lot of people think Temi should be playing tomorrow at the 4. She kind of came in and slowed Asia down just a little bit. She's a little bit lengthier, a little bit more athletic defensively. So I'm just excited for the game. Look, people think the Aces are going to blow them out, whatever the case is, and it's not just about Asia and Caitlin Clark. Asia has a solid team. So I'm not going to sit there and compare the two like that, because that's not. Right now, Asia has a very solid team. It's a championship team. Going to be very hard to beat, but I don't see them getting swept. No. I don't think the Indiana Fever are going to get swept. Not at home. I think they're going to come out, have a very good game. They got to start fast, though. They got to start early. How they did last game, the first, not even a minute. I think Becky called a timeout within like less than a minute. We need to come out on fire, win every quarter, and continue to stay within ourselves. We can't get frustrated if shots don't go our way. We can't let the refs dictate. Obviously, the refs, they didn't want them to win that game. Let's be honest. Because the whole media would have went crazy. Caitlin Clark, MVP, blah, 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 blah. They didn't want them to win that game. You saw the whistles. You saw the calls. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to be the guy to be like, oh, the refs. Other channels and other people already said it. I'm not going to keep saying the refs. Me personally, I saw what happened with the refs. I saw that there's a championship team who knows how to sell calls, and they did that to get the win. So there's no excuses. The Fever got to come out and play. I don't expect them to back down. So I got high expectations for the game. I will be live on one of the channels. I'm not sure yet, but if you have not, make sure you guys sub to the channel. I'm going to leave this here for you guys. I'm going to catch you guys on the next video. I'm out.